Let me tell you why I have a problem with what Kea Rose is doing.
Hello, no hate to this creator. Just let me tell you why I don't care.
What I find funny is Kea used 2 seconds of my video, said no hate to this creator, go on to use the rest of the 6-minute video to go in depth to why she's talking about Ace and Kitty the way that she is, but yet all of the women in the comments section are on my head, calling me a pick-me, telling me that I'm wrong for not supporting a black woman. Here's what we know. Black women are the largest group of educated people, period, or the largest growing group, right? Black women have been the backbone of the community. We are supposed to be the smartest. We are supposed to be the blueprint. Yet, why do we keep making emotionally charged decisions that come back to bite us later? Why is it that we ignore all of this intellect and all of this common sense that we claim to have to do silly things like work for free until a $500,000 debt is created? Why is it that we as black women can continue to make poor choices and then hide from the accountability by saying I was abused? Why are we returning to the abuse? Why are we not standing firm when the abuse starts happening? And I am specifically referring to someone being financially abused. It makes no sense to me. It sounds to me like there is some personal feelings tied in with the business. Because, baby, when it comes to business, there ain't no personal feelings. You can't abuse me in business because we gonna follow these contracts unless there were no real contracts. You cannot abuse me in business when in my job specifications, everything is lined out black and white. I can tell you no. And I understand that with social media, there is no HR to go and report someone to. But I have a problem with how this information is being delivered. Not because the truth shouldn't be told. Tell it, baby. I'm a firm believer in we should have been finished with the what goes on in this house stays in this house. Keep it a secret. Don't tell nobody. Let's work it out between me and you. I don't believe in that. Speak the truth, but you can do it with class and decorum and professionalism, right? But it seems to me like we don't know how to do that. And it seems to me like it is celebrated and it is considered being my authentic self to be loud and boisterous and masculine. It seems to be celebrated to be your authentic self as long as you are angry and you are bashing other people, right? But it would be beyond us to stop for a second, collect all data, be quiet while we're doing it, get our emotions under control, regulate ourselves so we can come back with an articulate argument. But no, crash out and deal with the consequences later is what everybody wants to see. And if it's for clicks and views, baby, kudos, because you doing your thing. But if it's not, it's really sad to see that this is what we have been reduced to as black women.
I am calling out financial abuse, emotional abuse, mental abuse.
Everyone's talking about abuse these days, about being a victim. But let's be real here. Some of y'all were the bystanders. You were the bullies, the tormentors, the enablers. You laughed when people were humiliated and crying. You were complicit. You ganged up on the weak and the innocent. You turned a blind eye when it wasn't your problem. And now when the culture shifts, suddenly you want to expose people for sympathy, right? See, abuse is real. Trauma is real. But so is accountability. You can't rewrite history simply because the internet has now made it trendy to be the wounded one. Maybe instead of looking for pity, it's time to reflect on yourself. Because being a victim doesn't erase all the times that you were the villain. And the people that you tormented and bullied, hey, some of us may have forgiven you, while others are still feeling the pain of you mismanaging your power your influence, and your ignorance.
You want to make it seem like that he's the problem. But to be honest with you, you're the biggest monster out of this whole group. You have made a 6, 7, 8-part series about Mojo Jojo. Whole time, you knew who he was. You watched him trick his way into women's lives, their drawers, and their minds. And you knew who he was. You built your whole platform on speaking up for women and men ain't shit and calling out men for not being shit. But you sat by and watched Mojo Jojo do this for 4 seasons knowing who he was and then say nothing. But the minute your money was messed up, here you came. Who the fuck did I work for? You knew who you was working for the whole time and you didn't care. You built your platform on playing with these women's emotions also. You the worst one because you're a woman. You know what these women go through because you probably went through it yourself and you saw them tricking and working their way and deceiving their way into these hurt women lives. Women who were looking for actual advice. And you watch these women come and pay their hard-earned money to come listen to these lies these dudes was telling. And you didn't say nothing because you were getting paid.
I said the same thing after the first video she made. This is the video right here.
You mean to tell me you knew Ace was doing all of these things? You knew he was promiscuous. You knew he was manipulating people. You knew he was pandering or grifting or whatever the case may be. And you was completely okay with that as long as you was getting your cut?
Who the fuck did I work for? Mojo Jojo!
How can you be a father and then a baby father like 10 different women? It's impossible.
I wouldn't say it's impossible.
Now look at the black community don't need that.
To be clear, I'm not saying go be reckless, but I'm saying those who are actually in a position to be able to provide and be able to give that.
Tell me what you think that is.
So
what
like,
is that for you?
I'm not saying that Nick Cannon is like the role
Nick
model.
Cannon is the worst.
He also not marrying nobody.
This is why I think he's the worst. It's not about having sex with a lot of women. Right. I don't care. Go do that. I believe that a man or a woman should not spread himself so thin or herself so thin where you cannot be in this child's life. How much hours can this child get when you have literally California, Barbados, Virgin Islands, Jamaica?
I think we have to stop installing this opinion of manhood and good man into our boys, our young men, our men. A lot of times what we're held to as even what being okay looks like is a societal standard, and it doesn't leave room for that man to develop on his own. Because I'm trying to develop into something for somebody else. Realize who I am outside of my relation to other people, because that's really what a man through societal standard is measured by, is his relationship to his work, his relationship to his family, his relationship to his wife, his relationship to power and provision. And none of it is about developing as a whole person. And we continually like install this into boys and men and wonder why there's a lack there. It's not so much about the spaces we occupy. Men dominate a whole lot of space. We got plenty of space. It's just that the version of manhood is not.
Me and my lady, we talk about things that we want to do. And I'm trying to be more open. In other words, like say we do play parties. In other words, we get in the rooms with a lot of different couples doing things, and normally we mess with other women.
Word.
But this time she said, hey, I said I was bisexual, which means
like men too.
I'm cool with it, you know. I'm cool with it. Hey, I know you're not trying to love the guy, but as we got closer to the date of this play party and this arrangement that we made, bro, I start sweating. I'm waking up at 2 in the morning staring at the ceiling. I'm just like, and I don't know why. I'm not comfortable. I had to hit her and say, babe, I'm trying. I don't think I can do it. I don't think I can do it.
But why?
Because I don't know.
Red flags are called red flags because they violate your boundaries. However, some people can have unhealthy boundaries. They can have too harsh or too loose boundaries.
Oh, you're saying some people are making it a red flag that's not actually a red flag.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes your boundaries can be too harsh. And so what I'm getting at when it comes to that, red flags, okay, because they are, the reason why they're that is because they violate your boundaries. You need to know what your boundaries are. But you have to make sure with that self-awareness, you have healthy boundaries, not just saying, "Oh, if this person doesn't answer the phone in this such time,
I see people like that. Yeah,
that's an unhealthy boundary. That's a harsh boundary. So you do have to be aware, but you have to make sure you have healthy boundaries coming into dating. And a lot of people don't have healthy boundaries.
I don't know what a feminine man is. I don't
know exactly what it is.
Who, me?
You honestly feel threatened by them because that's the one thing that you probably lack as a human is this empathy vehicle that you're so afraid to lay claim to when really it's necessary for your manhood.
There's too many men out there who have been told that the way that they feel is feminine. So they're so scared to show their feelings. They don't have any empathy or compassion for other people. And I noticed this with this specific dude. When he starts talking about single mothers and women and stuff, you can tell he lacks sympathy and compassion, and that's like psychotic. You not having empathy or compassion for women is a problem. How are you fully a man when you don't know how to acknowledge emotions, especially a woman's? Because part of being a good man is being able to care for a woman and a child. That doesn't mean you won't be taken care of in return. Shit, if you a good dude, you knew how to pick a good woman. Be leery of dudes that's always scared that they're going to look feminine because they're not necessarily manly at all. They weak as hell on the inside.